Greetings, everybody. I'm Dell with Healing Frequencies Music, and this is another one of Dell's tidbits. And there's a playlist with all of these. They're basically just off the cuff, short little things, just talking about things that I discuss in courses, things that are in blog posts, discussions with people, just a variety of things that seem to come up in general conversation. And this one is about the power of our words. I remember it was in the late 1980s coming across a book by the man named Charles Capps, and it's spelled Capps. It's called The Tongue, the Creative Force. And it is a book that's based on Judeo-Christian ideas, which I know not everybody watching this may agree with or not, but it was a very powerful book because there's a lot of ancient texts, including the Bible, that talk about the tongue. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. All of those, and so much about you're going to have what you say. I remember there was a song that we used to sing that was based on, I think, Mark 11, something or other. You shall have whatsoever you say. And we were singing it with the group, and the group didn't want to sing it. And they go, I don't believe that. And I'm like, I mean, and that's good that they at least said that they didn't want to sing the song because they didn't believe it. But at the same point, we do have what we say. Our words affect every part of our being, as it did with me. You know, I went from a very vibrant person to getting in an interesting relationship, which I talk about that in a couple of different books. And what happens when a person gets brainwashed is they're listening to the same thing coming at them all the time. I mean, that is how dictators work. They're going to constantly spew the same kind of stuff at you over and over and over. And the media is the number one source of propaganda. And you can tell what's propaganda. Number one, is it meant to instill fear? Is there fear laced in those words? And number two, is there a sense of dread? Is there a sense of, oh my gosh, I got to do something about this? Anytime that we respond to a news report like that, that's them drawing us in just a little bit more and a little bit more to believe what it is they have to say. And we saw this in Nazi Germany. And I have other blog posts and videos where I've talked specifically about that and how that completely affects us. And sorry, I'm sitting here looking and realizing it's kind of bright, but I'm not going to stop the video and go change it. So get used to my face just looking shiny. I go like this. I'll change it for the next video. Anyway, the whole point is we can come into agreement with stuff that we don't even think that we could do because we listen to something so much. And that happened in my marriage. There were things that were being said to me that were not true, but they were said so often that I believed it. And I thought, no, never me. But the problem is they were negative things. And that is how women stay in certain relationships longer than they should, is because, you've got these emotions. Oh, I love this person. They couldn't possibly want to hurt me. But we always forget that hurting people hurt others. There's this thing called projection that we tend to project onto others what we're doing ourselves. Do the actions line up with the words? Because we have thoughts, intents, and actions. Intents are generally played out through some sort of an action. And I'm just amazed at how many people will, be flapping at the mouth and they'll be saying something. And the next thing you know is wait a minute, I saw that person do that yesterday. Or they're accusing you of the very thing that they're that they're doing themselves. I'm just shocked at how much I see that. But eventually what comes out of here is going to affect the physical part. And it did for me. It brought it to the point where I was so sick I could hardly function. And I've mentioned that in a couple of videos, and it took 15 years to change that. And probably the reason it took so long is I had to get to a point where I realized what the problem was. And part of the problem was me. And you're thinking, how is that possible? When we come into agreement with something that is negative, we've become part of the problem because we've aligned with something that is harmful. So I had to come out of alignment with the harmful thing so that I could come into alignment with something that was better for me. And, I'd kind of been stripped of my identity, of things I really like to do, of all of that, the natural stuff that I just enjoyed. I had to relearn a few things. And it took a lot of just mental practice and, getting control of the emotions. I mean, because I pretty much had shut down my emotions for so long. It took me a while to remember I even had them. If all else fails, just close them off. Don't pay attention to them. That only works for so long. Anyway, once I figured it out, then all of a sudden my body's going, wait, I like this new thought. These new actions and these new intentions are so much better than what was coming in before. I think I can heal now. In a sense, our words affect you, or affect us to the very core, to the very cellular structure of our being. Our body wants to heal itself. We run and get drugs or do all these, run to the doctor every 5 minutes or whatever it is, pop the latest pill and, ooh, I'll feel better. But we forget that there's emotional stuff that's holding us back. And that is only a temporary fix. Do we want to find a full-time fix that completely changes us all the way down to the very cells of our body so that we can function at our full capacity? And when we get to that point, then our words will be in a place where our body can say, I like this. And with that, that gives you some things to ponder on. And we'll see you in the next video.